Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to the Get Your Goals Annual Challenge, Day 7. For the longest time, I've tried to get in various challenges this particular exercise on Day 7, and it usually ends up on Day 6. But today, through this challenge, I've stretched it out, and on Day 7, today, we are doing the 7 Whys exercise. Why? Because it's one of the most powerful exercises I've found in the last couple of years, especially since the pandemic, to really understand myself and understand why something's affecting me and why I want to do it. So the 7 Whys exercise, it's a take on, but it's a couple layers deeper. The 5 Whys exercise I learned from, I don't even remember who I first learned it from, maybe Tony Robbins, maybe somebody else, but it's basically, you think about something that you want, and then you ask yourself why repeatedly to really get down to the root cause and the reason that you want that thing. Now, I've done this on every area and aspect of my life, and we will probably do it this year on each of the 9 areas and aspects of our life, because that's how powerful it is. So today, just in general, think of one thing that you want. And I'll walk through an example of this and we'll see what we end up with. I haven't done it yet. I just said, okay, I got heart surgery coming up. So what about that? Why is that important? And why am I concerned or thinking about that? Not doubtful or worried or fearful, but why is that even coming up as something that I want? And I guess I would say my health preparation for my heart surgery. I know I'm going to have it this year. I just don't know when, which is, I think, probably the most, excuse me, frustrating part about it, because it's not like I can plan, okay, on June 17th or on July 25th or on August 8th or on February 4th. I might be having heart surgery. Now, I don't think it's going to happen as soon as that. I think it'll be more towards fall, but no idea. And I think that uncertainty unnerves most of us, right? I create a lot of structure and planning and goal setting and things in my life because I like to feel certain about the things I can control, because there's so much in our lives and so much in the world that we have absolutely no control over that increases our uncertainty. And one thing that all of us human beings really want is to be sure and certain and confident about some things in our life. So 7 Whys exercise, how does this work? We just ask ourselves, instead of 5 different whys, we go 7 layers deep. Now, I learned this from Dean Graziosi. I think it was in 2020. It could have been I think it was 2020, January of 2020. He was doing a training at the beginning of the year, and I think he still does that pretty much all the time, but at the beginning of every year. And I was participating in that training, and he shared this exercise. And he shared, like, I felt skeptical that, well, what would 2 more whys make? I've done the 5 why exercise for a couple of decades. Why would asking why 2 more times make any difference at all? And so I took off my skeptical hat and I said, okay, I'm going to try this. And I did it. And I did it in a couple different things that I wanted and was concerned about. It was really interesting what came up. It went significantly deeper into understanding the cause of why something is important to me. A couple of the things went back to my childhood and a couple of experiences I had had as a child that I didn't even remember, but the resulting choices and decisions I'd made based on those crazy experiences as a kid. And one was I was like 3 years old, and the other one I was in like maybe kindergarten or 1st grade, and they were still impacting what I would and wouldn't do, my choices, how I filtered things and thought about things, which to me was just mind-boggling. And that's part of the reason I love this exercise, because it allowed me to say, all right, I get that when I was 3 years old, that happened, and this is how my 3-year-old mind decided to work on it. But now I'm like 61, 62. Do I really need to respond the same way? Absolutely, positively not. And so it was easy then to let go of those things that have been, those subconscious beliefs that have been impacting me for literally decades. So today, let's walk through an example of this, and we'll see what comes up. And I'm a little bit scared because I have not done this. So as I ask the whys, I'm just going to share whatever pops up, because that's how you do it. And usually I just will write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll write what I want, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'll document just a couple of words to describe each why, to trigger and remind me if I ever want to go back and revisit this. And every once in a while, I'll go back and I'll look at the previous exercises I've done. I've done this since 2020 with the 7 whys. So I've got probably a dozen or so, probably a couple dozen examples of different things that I've wanted that I've used this exercise on. So let's say health prep for my upcoming heart surgery. Again, don't know when it is. I know what it is. It's just to replace my internal cardiac device. But until it fails, I think like 3 or certain number of times, literally fails. So I'm glad I don't depend on mine for like keeping my heart going or pacing. After it does that, then insurance will cover the surgery to replace it, put it in a new box. I call it a box. My daughter calls it my Iron Man. So I want to make sure that I'm preparing myself health-wise to make that surgery go well, right? We all want a good outcome whenever we're going into surgery. So my want is health preparation for my heart surgery. Why do I want that? Well, I want to make sure I have a great outcome, right? Well, why do I want a great outcome? So great outcome it would be my first why. Well, why do I want a great outcome? Well, so I have a speedy recovery, right? So speedy recovery becomes my second why. Why do I want a speedy recovery? So I can get back to my life. I'm writing these down because I want to actually capture them. And then why do I want to get back to my life? Well, because I've got a brand new granddaughter coming in February. So I live with my daughter and my son-in-law and my current granddaughter, who's going to be 2 in February. And then she's going to have a sister in February too. Hopefully February might happen in January still. We never know. So I want to be available to help, healthy enough to help and support them, right? Well, why do I want to be healthy enough to help and support them? Because I love them, right? I love them because I love them. Well, I'm not going to say why do I love them let's say I want to help, because I do want to help. And why do I want to help? So I feel like I'm contributing. And why do I want to feel like I'm contributing? So I feel like I'm making a positive difference in the world. I guess in their lives, right? And I could ask myself one more reason, why do I want to make a positive difference in their lives? And then it comes down, usually this would be my why 8, make the world a better place. Make a positive impact to make the world a better place. Now, I didn't always think that it was my purpose or part of my reason for being and existing to make the world a better place. But now I find that when I do a lot of these why exercises, when I ask myself that series of why questions, and this wasn't a great example, this is off the top of my head. I'll do another one later today as part of our action item today, because that's our action item today, is to think of something you want and then ask yourself why 7 times, 7 layers deep. And again, it doesn't have to be super complicated or super in-depth or super, wordy about what and why it is. It's just, why do I want this? Why do I want this? Why do I want this? And it's usually, why do I want the thing above? So it all goes back to health preparation for my surgery, but I get from that to feel like I'm making a positive difference in the lives of those I love, or to make the world a better place. So you wonder, like, how does it get to that? But as you go deeper and ask the whys, it's interesting the direction that sometimes your answers go. And if I ask the same question 4 or 5 times, I might get different stems and different answers, which just tells me that it's a bigger deal in my life. It's a bigger want in my life than maybe I first thought. Okay, I want a new car. Well, why do you want a new car? Because mine's not dependable and it breaks down. Well, why does it not dependable and it breaks down? Well, because I haven't been doing the maintenance on it. Why haven't you been doing the maintenance on it? Because of whatever, and then whatever, and whatever, and whatever, and whatever. And it's interesting, even if something as simple as that will lead down to usually a belief, a long-held belief, or a fear that has been hiding itself in plain sight from you, but we'd never go back and we look at all these wiser results that we've gotten in our life to examine, well, what might be causing it? What beliefs, what thoughts what feelings might be causing that? Anyway, that is our exercise for today. 7 whys. Action item. just, what do you want? Anything. It can be anything. Think of something that you want, and then just start asking yourself 7 times, why do you want it? Why do you want it? Why do you want it? And then share in the comments below if this worked for you, if it didn't, if you learned something new. Just share something about the exercise and how you felt about doing it. All right, have an awesome day. I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.